Ba 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 da da ba da 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 ba ba da. Oh hey, welcome back to Hamlet Without Hamlet. I'm Tim, and over here we got the one, the only, Ian.
Hello, folks. Welcome back.
Very low key. Way to bring it back down.
Oh yeah, we'll go again.
We don't need no high energy over here.
All right, shoot it again. Fine. You want me to be over the top?
I want you to be you, man. I want you to be you.
Apparently not.
I want you to be you, but not like that.
Try it.
Be you, but more you than that you.
The same thing,
More.
but better.
Okay, and let's open same thing but better, like just a little bit better on the song. Just
I'm done.
wait, are you walking out on your own podcast?
I don't need this. I'm sure you're great, but I'm done with you professionally. Anyway.
It was going so well
We
here.
hadn't even gotten on the rails yet.
Oh, we've been on the rails for a while. You just took us straight off.
Anyway. Over here.
Hey, I'm also here.
There, now that we've established that they exist too. Back to me. Kidding. If you didn't hear from the theme song, tonight we are discussing Superman and the Superman movies. With the new release, based on when we're filming this, came out yesterday of the Superman movie with David Cornswet and Rachel Brosnahan. I and my wife went to see it. Date night. It opened Friday, so we went Thursday night because that's how it works now for midnight showings, as we've discussed. But it was lovely. Saw it at a very big ultra screen theater. The sound was booming. So we thought it would be fun to sit down and give our rankings of all of the Superman films and see where this one might just fit its way in. So I'll toss it to you, sir.
All right.
Which of these movies have you seen?
I've seen Lois and Clark TV series.
It's a good start. And we'll go downhill from there.
And that is it.
You know, I should have seen it coming.
You really should have.
Movies are your kryptonite. That appears to be the case.
I've heard about that kryptonite. Where does that come from?
You know, mostly just made up lore.
So I am actually quite intrigued to hear your breakdown because I have been Marvel movies, Marvel superheroes have been my go-to.
Sure.
DC has not been something that I've been drawn to other than Batman.
Okay.
Growing up with everything from the TV series back in the 90s to the modern era. Seen Shazam. I think that's about it out of the DC universe and lore,
Okay.
which I want to expand into.
Interesting. Do you feel that's because of the darker tone and moodiness? Is it the characters? Is it just
Resonating less with the characters would be one. I think I just and the time when Marvel came out and I caught some of those movies and they caught fire. I mean, the way they did the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize a lot of the Marvel movies that I've seen, Blade and Constantine and Knight Rider. Seen a lot of Marvel things without even knowing I was seeing Marvel things, to be quite honest. But Superman was never top of my list. But as I've kind of run through the Marvel side of things, I want to spend more time in the DC universe and
okay?
expand on that. So when you pitched this one, surprise, surprise.
Okay.
I knew this is where we were going with it. I just didn't tell you.
Wow.
For comedic effect.
What a curveball.
Except for you should have seen it coming. So who's the fool now?
Indeed.
He'll put it on the
Apparently,
list.
Both of us.
See, I actually do want to put some of these on the list, but I'm trying to figure
You'll
out.
put it on the list. All of them.
Hey, guess what? Guess who's got a TV in a room set up so he can view and record? It's this guy. It's this guy. This guy, folks.
Oh, hey, tune in for Ian Reacts. Huh?
They'll probably look like this.
It might still play.
He's not actually even watching
Look
the
at
movie.
that bearded dragon.
Will he blink? Stay tuned.
It's been 28 minutes. How is he not need some fight? He's eating. Anyway. Where are we going?
Superman.
All right. So, I think it makes the most sense to start, like Maria von Trapp would say, at the very beginning. So I know that there is a Superman movie. I mean, maybe a couple serial films from like the 40s and 50s. I think George Reeve did one while he was on the TV show. I have not seen that. So I want to start with Christopher Reeves with Superman from what, 72?
Man, it's almost like we would have to pull it up and have a look.
78.
It's A78.
8. Wowzers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, for me, my enjoyment of the films, also similar to Bond, follows sway with how I enjoy the character or the actor playing the character in good measure. There are some outliers. I really like Christopher Reeves a lot as Superman, so that goes a long way. I think he does an amazing job of playing both Clark and Kal-El, Superman, with good aplomb on both, unique, different characters of each, without one feeling weaker. And I think that's some of the knock against some of the later Supermans. So that's probably my favorite part about his Superman in general, is it feels like the most complete and the most true to like the comics, where he's just a truly good person that wants to do well and tries to do his best for everybody, even in the face of incredibly horrible odds and people that want to do horrible, nefarious things to him, and he still holds true to his moral stance and guidelines. So, Superman was great. It was one of the first true superhero movies, if not the first, that was like mainstream box office. And I think he really took a risk to take on that role, because it was an unknown commodity if that would hit or not. Mm-hmm. And he brought what it needed, because it could have been played very broadly for comedic effect, maybe kind of lampooning it more like the Airplane route. But he brought the realism, the humanness, the general human nature to it that plays well and makes you sympathize with him as a person.
Good.
And obviously an all-powerful alien,
Mm-hmm.
but in the world that he lives in. So I love his character and how he plays it. I love the dynamic between him and Lois. So I would put Superman 1 and 2 pretty even in terms of my ranking. Superman 3 is a bit of a drop-off. It feels very much like he was doing it because they asked him and paid him some good money, but the story just isn't as good. So 1 and 2 are really good. I'd say 1 is probably a 7.6 out of 10 for me, and 2 is probably a 7.1. 3 is probably closer to like a 6.5.
Now I just need to figure out Mission Impossible 2 bar. What is Mission Impossible 2? You just need to know if it's above or below.
It's I'd probably put it on par with the third one,
Okay.
but it's definitely below Superman and Superman 2. So take that for what it's worth.
I just need
Is the music is good though?
I mean, how could it be?
The funny thing is that if you release this pretty soon, that other episode where we're talking about the music won't be out yet.
It's going to work out. Just
Yeah, okay.
That may or may not have just come out.
Somebody knows what he's doing. Anyway.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and then we got Superman 4, which
Who's the actor that plays him in that?
still Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
So, that was his last hurrah, and it truly feels like going through the motions. Barely wants to be there, but kind of doing a little bit of has to for the studio. I don't know if he signed a 4-picture deal or not, or maybe the first one hit and then he signed a 3-picture deal or something. But it lost something from 1 and 2 for sure. He still plays it well, but probably I don't remember if it's 1 or 2. But one of my favorite scenes from any Superman is he's talking to Lois through a door, and you can see him like visually transform from Clark into Superman just in his face and his voice, and it's really subtle acting, but it's fantastic because it is 2 distinct characters that he's playing. He's not just like slightly changing his voice a little, like it's like his shoulders change, and like it's really well done. And again, the nuance of it adds to my appreciation of his performance. So I would put 4 a little bit above 3 for me. I would probably be like a 6-9. So far, number 1 is number 1, then 2, then Superman 4, then Superman 3. And then we took a big old hiatus. Go ahead.
I was going to say, now that we've kind of hit the first 4 and before the hiatus there, so with those first 4 films, and specifically the 2 that seem like they're worth watching, obviously special effects wasn't what it is today in 2025.
Right.
So with 1 and 2, what makes those that you rank them so high? Is it story? Is it the way the characters are played on screen? What is it that really gets it into that rank? Because nowadays when you think superhero, you think big explosions, big everything all over the place, and fights all over, and planets, and big.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't worked then.
I would say they, for the time, for sure, the effects are pretty good. I mean, this came out right around the same time as Star Wars, so they learned a lot from that. Sorry, this came out the year after that.
Yeah.
So for the time, they're good. Obviously, pale in comparison to today, but I think it's less about the spectacle and more about the story and the characters and the drama between them that makes it interesting. I would say Shazam would be a good example of that. Like, the intrigue of the story for me is less about the fact that this kid becomes a superhero and can do almost anything. It's the family that he comes from that informs who he is and how the choices he makes when he's this superhero. Very similar feel with Superman.
Okay.
And I think even Chris's desire to play the character and play it so earnestly wins a lot of points in my enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
So, and I will add the caveat to this that I have engendered more positive feelings to Superman in the last 12 years of my life than I did before. I didn't dislike Superman before, but it wasn't a bastion of like my life or something like I knew a lot about it. But my wife is a massive Superman fan.
Okay.
Smallville is her jam, but she has like an entire box and a half of just Superman memorabilia and
all right,
shirts and hats and goblets and keychains and everything. So when we got together, I kind of got reintroduced to Superman through her, and that was the first time really watching them as an adult. I hadn't seen any of the original Supermans until we started dating.
Okay.
And I'd only seen Superman Returns prior to that. So it's come a long way, and it's a lot more recent for me. So this isn't like me thinking back to when I was 9 and I watched this movie. These are within the last 8 to 10 years.
No,
so
that's good.
So the question of does it hold up doesn't really even work for you because you watch them contemporarily.
Right. I would agree with that for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, then we had a big old hiatus. So Quest for Peace was what, 87? And we jumped all the way to 2006?
All the way to 2006.
And indeed, he did return. This one I have a strong affinity for because it came out when I was in high school. I think this is the beginning of my senior year when it came out. And Marvel hadn't hit yet. But it was a moment because Superman was back. We hadn't had one, and obviously Christopher Reeve had gone through his horrific accident, and he had passed away, but he was still Superman. We had Smallville, but this was the first time on the big screen. So I remember it being an event, and I went and watched this in theaters with some friends from high school. And I think the story is really cool. I think Kevin Spacey did a good job as Lex Luthor. I think Parker Posey did an amazing job as like his ditzy girlfriend. She was wonderful. I think Brandon Routh looks like Superman, but he was so wooden from an acting perspective that it lost a lot for me.
Wooden? What do you mean by wooden?
His acting performance was mostly just nothing. Like he was either...
It's like this.
What do you mean, Lois? Like, if he was smiling, it was like a one corner up smirk. Or, like, he was just too no affect. It was just very little behind the scenes is what it felt like to me.
Absolutely.
Which is a choice. He wasn't atrocious. It just didn't add much to it. He was definitely Superman, but there wasn't much else going on from my perspective. So I would probably give that one a 6.6, maybe. So that would probably be right between Superman 3 and 4. Again, I enjoy parts of it. I think some of the plot makes sense. It's an interesting take that potentially Lois's son is his son. We don't really know that. They kind of leave it open-ended, and they didn't do a sequel, so... I think it's implied because he catches a piano, but it's fine. Spoilers. Spoilers for this, 19-year-old movie.
You spoiled it for me. Guess I have to watch that one now. One off the list. I'm good.
And then I would also say and this might be a choice by the acting and the director, the actors and the director, but I didn't feel much chemistry between Lois and Clark. And I think part of that was because they were trying to show that he had left. Because in the story, he leaves Earth to go help the survivors of his planet and then returns. Superman returns like 9 years later. So this is where we pick it up, is him showing up again, and Earth has been without its superhero for all that time. So since then, she has found someone else, gotten married, and they're raising this kid, which we think is his. Anyway, so I think maybe there's a little bit of a standoffishness that they chose to do there, but the chemistry of, like, I could see them being an item in the past didn't really feel like it was there. So a lot of it didn't work for me. Some did. It was cool to see him on screen. The beginning big stunt with the space shuttle and catching an airplane in a baseball field. Physics be darned. It's cool.
Yeah. We don't watch superheroes for realistic physics.
Right.
Physics.
So that was that. What do we got? Dawn of Justice?
No, Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Oh, yes. I'm a big Cavill fan. I think I enjoy his acting. I have not seen Witcher, but most of everything else that he's done, I've enjoyed. I don't think everything he's done is great quality overall, but I've never not liked him and what he's done. Even Argyle, not a great movie. I think he's pretty cool in it. I like it. I thought he was fantastic in Fallout. We've discussed this before. He's one of the greatest action movies of all time, and he's a great part in it. Again, kind of has that turn to be the bad guy, which I wish we could see more of. So when I heard that he was going to be Superman, I was really excited. And I think he's the most Superman-looking part. Granted, I'm certain, did some steroids. And worked out really hard to have that physique in essentially one scene. Like, he was buff for most of the movie, but the one scene where he has no shirt on, I think he said he, like, essentially starved himself for, like, 3 days straight and drank very little water the day or two before to look as ripped as he did. And he's like, it looks great on screen, but it was not healthy. So, in that moment, he looks the most what you would expect Superman to look like. I think he had a good balance between Superman and Clark. I actually like his Clark a little more than his Superman. I think his Superman is a little too, I don't know, maybe stoic isn't the right word, because I think the character's kind of supposed to be stoic, but I wish there was a little more emotion from the Superman side. I think his Clark is great. Very funny, glib, plays that well. I really like the interplay between him and Amy Adams. I wish there was a little more of that. I think they had some really good chemistry. And I think the guy who played General Zod, Michael Shannon, there it is. I think that's an underrated villain performance across any superhero movies, or at the bare minimum, not talked about enough. So him and their relationship, and then Michael Shannon as Zod, elevates it above Superman 3 for sure. Maybe teetering around Superman 2 for my preference. So I'd probably put those right in a similar par.
If I may, I really liked some of the ways that people dealt with Superman, trying to figure out how do we work with this thing we can't control, and the overall approach of how he tried to kind of stay not well known, but then they find him essentially, and he turns himself in, and they're under this impression that they can do something, and he just shows them, no, you can't.
Yep.
Look, I've been here for 30 years. Nothing's happened so far. Nothing's going to happen. We're not pointed at the right thing. Let's point at the right thing. That scene is amazing. I don't want to spoil too much of it, because this is probably one to watch.
It's just so good.
I don't want to spoil it. Tim acts it out. All right.
Anyway.
I'll forget by the time I see it.
Yeah. When you see it. If. Yeah.
Wow.
I have very little confidence in this list. The list exists. I don't know if it'll get shorter. Maybe when you retire.
I've added to the list. I don't know if you've added more to your rankings, but
a lot of people do push back on the scene with his dad. I think it's okay. I like how it plays. I think it builds the character and informs a lot of his later decisions. A lot of people see that scene, which, again, I won't spoil for you, but they're like, no, he never would have done that. He could have done this, and then that didn't happen. But I think it works in the scene. I think it works for the character. It works for the story. I liked this movie because it's kind of that darker, grittier DC story type without being grim. And I think that's where some of the other, like Suicide Squad and the, is it the other Suicide Squad with Joker, Jared Leto? Yeah. Those two Suicide Squads were just like, ugh. Justice League kind of, it's very overstuffed, especially the long Snyder version. But this one, I think, struck a good tone between let's make it a little bit more realistic and gritty without being so heavy. So I like that one a lot. So I would, like I said, I'd put that one pretty high.
What's your take on the mass casualties, destruction of the city sort of scenario where Superman could have moved out of the city but didn't with Zod? Do you have a strong take on that?
Do I have a strong take on it? No. I mean, I would put it in a similar category to how I kind of think about that battle at the end of Avengers. Like, they could have done a little more to not be directly in the city. Because it's a movie and you're not literally watching thousands of people get crushed by buildings. It's a little more out of sight, out of mind. So I don't have any specific issue with it. Like, I never walked out of the movie going like, man, but what if he'd... I just sort of enjoy it as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Oh, well, I don't have a strong opinion on it necessarily. The spectacle of, everything is crashing down around. It definitely would be a lot more boring if they were having this fight in a big field, right? So from the standpoint of Snyder creating an exciting movie, yes. But even if you look back at Reeve's Superman, he was looking to reduce collateral damage. That was a part of the consideration of Superman. How can I reduce casualties? So it was a bit of a turn in the characterization. And that's the grittier part, right? Mm-hmm. And I would, in Avengers, they didn't really choose the battlefield. The battlefield was happening where the battle was happening, right? Versus here, the fight was kind of about Superman. So he could have moved it away. Maybe Zod would have continued in the city, but it seems like it's a different type of character of I'm just going to fight versus minimize casualties at all costs. Reeves Superman would sacrifice himself and get injured rather than allow people to.
Yeah. And to your point, I think that may have been a specific choice to go away from that sort of like Boy Scout view of Superman and more of like the realist version of like, can that be a cornerstone of who he is? Sure. Does it drive everything he does in every situation? No, maybe he's more of a realist of like, I got to deal with this guy here right now and I'll figure out the rest later. But I didn't come out of it going like, could have done that better.
Yeah.
Because who am I to judge Superman? Here I am, right here.
Judging Superman.
Then we get Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of Justice.
Blarg.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, no, I'm as I already alluded to this a little bit, but I'm not a fan of the heavy dark. I think Shazam is good. This Superman that I'll talk about, this new one, and Wonder Woman are the best version of the DC so far in this new iteration of true characters, well acted, good script, a little heavier without being so in the muck.
And with that, just real quick, Shazam. Seen Shazam 2?
I have not seen Fury of the Gods, no.
Okay. I have not seen the whole thing, but it seems to be, when we started watching it, it definitely took a heavier, darker turn.
Oh, good. I will say, have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Many times.
I will say, I love the foster family relationship.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier. But the last 20 minutes of that got pretty heavy, and especially the scene in the boardroom. That seemed very out of place for that movie. I would say.
I would
it
say.
Felt like the rest of the movie was a lighthearted PG, and then that one was like almost R. Like, whoa, what is happening? Why are you? Oh, that guy just got his head laid off. Okay. Oh,
I will say from the, not too many spoilers, but basically from the start of Shazam 2, it goes, hey, okay, we're PG-13. No, okay. Like, we were going to watch it with our probably 12-year-old son at that time, and then it was like, no, we're done with this. That's not going to happen.
All right.
I haven't gone back to it since, because it went dark. It went, kind of like it was a continuation of that almost.
okay.
Like that getting darker and harder, so.
Yeah, I might watch it sometime, but I didn't have as much desire. I was pleasantly surprised by Shazam, but it did not leave me going like, more. It was like that was surprisingly good and refreshing.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I'll go back to it. With so many other superhero movies available, that's not high on the list to just revisit or visit, I guess, the first time.
But shall we continue to visit Superman?
Yeah. So I think Ben Affleck does a good job of being Bruce Wayne. I think his Batman is too coarse, too gruff. And again, it fits the milieu of that grittier DC. But I don't like it. I don't think it plays very well. I don't love the dynamic between them here. Obviously, it's the setup of the movie. It's Batman versus Superman. And I did like seeing Henry Cavill come back because we didn't get to see a second Brandon Routh and see where that story went. So this one, he got to show up again. Obviously, shows up a little bit in Justice League, but I probably will not watch this again unless one of my kids comes to me and be like, I'm watching through these, Dad. Will you watch this with me? Sure. But this was you can keep it. I would put that at a upper 5s, maybe low 6. Probably down there with Superman 4.
So if we're talking superhero movies, Thor: A Dark World, or this.
I'd put Dark World above it. I think that one's got some stuff going for it.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to relate it to things I've seen and benchmark it against, like, Thor: Dark World is one of the lowest ranked in the MCU of the Phase 1s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good benchmark for myself and those watching.
And that's actually where Zachary Levi got his first chance to be a superhero. He plays one of Thor's buddies that dies pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, "Sure, Shazam. Let's go. Let's do this."
Shazam, there you go.
Shazam! All right. And then that brings us to our newest release.
2025.
2025. I loved it overall. I'll try my best to not do any spoilers. I think David Cornsweet does the best job of the original version of Superman from the comics, the TV show, and kind of on par with Christopher Reeves in that nice balance, truly to your point about destruction and casual, like he is to a fault concerned about every last person and the hair on their head before anything else. And I think he plays that really well, really earnestly. It's a fun movie. Some people might say that James Gunn kind of MCU'd it a little. I don't think it goes that far. I think it's very distinct from the MCU, but it has lighthearted moments. I think the guy who playing Lex Luthor is real good. Like the whole movie he's almost the main character. And it's essentially a 2-hour journey of watching him just go from feeling in control to essentially everything's gone terribly wrong, and then his descent in that process. And he does great in it. Nicholas Hoult, I think is his name. I loved it. He was manic. He was egotistical. It was great.
Which is the Lex Luthor character.
Yes,
I mean, that's him to
but
a
it's
T.
hard to play that and not be so over the top that it looks cartoonish. Like everything he did, I believed that character would do in that moment. And I never believed a second of that from Jesse Eisenberg in Batman versus Superman. No, thank you. Pass.
Now, is that just his performance on that, or is that Jesse Eisenberg?
No, I like him in other stuff. I think he's fantastic in Zombieland. I love him in Social Network. I thought he was great in we talked about before. What's it called? They go to Poland. It was nominated for Best Picture. Not going to think of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So it's not him as an actor. It's his portrayal on
Yeah.
screen that
Again,
just doesn't land.
It's Jesse Eisenberg. Like, he plays that character.
Which doesn't necessarily fit that role.
It's a very impish...
Yeah.
Lex that just like, I'm not in control of anything. I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna poke you two. So
Resistance?
no, it came out this year. A Real Pain.
A Real Pain, yep.
He directed, wrote, and starred in that one, and I thought he was great in all of those facets. So it's definitely not a Jesse Eisenberg thing. It's just he wasn't the right guy for that movie. Maybe it would have been elevated with somebody else.
Yeah.
But it didn't work for me. I think Rachel Brosnahan as Lois was fantastic. I think the dynamic between her and Superman was great. I loved the fact that you're just kind of thrown into it. This isn't another origin story. We've had that more than enough, especially for Superman. But this one is just like, Superman's been here, he's been doing his thing. Come along with us, you'll catch up. And we do. It's great in that respect. Crypto, the dog, is in the trailers. I thought that might be a little bit of a gimmick, or he's in like one scene that they show in the trailers. No, he is essential to the plot.
That's awesome.
And it's really fun. So I had never read the comics that had Crypto in it. I've never seen any of the episodes of any TV shows that have Crypto in it. So when the dog showed up, I was like, oh yeah, I've heard about him having a dog before. But it was really cool to have it be so ingrained in the plot. Yeah, it was just a really, really fun time with the movies. And I would put it right up there with the original Superman. They're kind of similar in, obviously, the people playing them, but kind of narrative arc, and he's going against Lex and that, but it's a very different route that I found to be very rewarding in the long run.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife is still like, I don't know. She's very particular about her Supermans.
I wouldn't have guessed.
When she saw the trailer, she's like, I just don't see him as Superman. So she came out of this one and was like, yeah, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I said the same thing. I went in excited, but feeling like this will probably be a solid 6. And I walked out probably 7.8. Not quite an 8, but getting close, which is a high score for me for a superhero movie. So highly recommend.
Nice.
Grab some popcorn, sit down, bring some loved ones, and just enjoy some good time at the movies.
And now, for the guy who hasn't seen any of these, you say, so it isn't an origin story, it just jumps right into it, you'll pick it up. But being that, I mean, yes, I have the outline of Superman, of course. I mean, does it make sense to go back to the original Superman 2, see those renditions before you'd go see this brand new one? Or do you think it stands alone enough that you could just go watch it and then go back? Or do you think that actually would give you value going into this one?
I definitely think they stand alone enough. So I would recommend watching Superman 1 and 2 and this new Superman. I don't know that an order necessarily stands out.
Okay.
Of you need to start here. I think you would appreciate what Christopher Reeve does with the character either way, whenever you watch it.
Yep.
But watch 1 and 2 near each other. You know, don't watch 1 and then put it down for 2 years and wait and watch Superman 2.
About a year and a half.
Okay.
9 months.
If you must, you must.
1 and 2 really do go together, so they're worth watching together. I never saw 3 or 4, so can't speak to it.
So I've actually never seen a couple episodes of Lois and Clark, but I've seen all the way through Smallville, and I think it's not necessarily an origin story of like what happened on Krypton and how he flew here, but it is the origin of Superman, the metahuman that lives on and cares about Earth.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed that narrative arc because it is truly about Clark and who he is and the friends he made and the morals and ethics he built up because of his parents and just being a hard worker, living his life in Kansas before any of this stuff shows up, before he has to take on the mantle of Superman. So if you're going to watch an origin story, I would say watch Smallville, and then you could watch Superman 1 and 2 and Superman if you feel the need for an origin.
Okay.
Because the series essentially ends like the first time he actually puts on the Superman suit, and then so it's 10 seasons of him going through high school, going through college, becoming an adult, and then leading.
I'm guessing it's a guy living in the world with superhuman strength and powers and things, and they pop up here and there.
Yes, but that's again part of the fun is he has no idea. Like, he knows that he came from somewhere else, but he doesn't know all of his powers. He doesn't know how to make them happen. He doesn't know what triggers him. He doesn't know everything that he can do or can't do. So a lot of the fun, especially the first 4 or 5 seasons, is him discovering his own powers when random things come up, or he sneezes the wrong way, or there's a really attractive girl in class, or you know, an asteroid lands on Earth that happens to have a little bit of kryptonite in it, and then we learn about all the different colors of kryptonite and what they do to him, and so it's a really well done journey into how Clark became Superman and the pieces that built him. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'd point you for an origin story, more than like Man of Steel or anything like that. So.
I like that.
There you go.
I like that.
Superman.
So if we had to do this in summary, can I ask you some quick fire questions?
Sure.
All right. So as we look at this list, actually, let's do it with the list up. You can only see half of it, but best Superman character. That's not how quickfire works.
Sorry. I'm weighing obviously 2.
And time's up.
Best Superman.
Yes, I would say quick blush, David Cornsweet is a new one, which is a bit of a shocker.
Best Clark Kent.
I would say Christopher Reeves.
Okay. Best Lex Luthor.
That one's harder. Probably Gene Hackman from the original.
Yep.
Second with Nicholas Hoult.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably have Kevin Spacey higher if the Superman he was with was stronger. But Brandon Routh is a cardboard cutout of a human.
Your wife's favorite Superman?
Tom Welling.
No? Okay.
From Smallville.
Yes, okay. Fair enough.
I have on more than one occasion considered buying a cameo of him for her birthday. But it's not super cheap. So if you want to Venmo me any money, or Tom.
Yeah.
You can just stop on by. That'd be great.
All right. Best story in a Superman movie.
I would probably say that would be a tie between the original Superman and Man of Steel. I think narrative, those are really well made and well thought out. But I'd probably give the edge to Superman. First one.
All righty. Which one of these should we avoid? We're going to not watch one of them.
Batman versus Superman. Yeah. I would. That
Unless your name is Martha.
Superman 4.
Unless your name is Martha, then watch that one. Because that's how they, come to the end, right? That's how they finally get along at the end.
Right.
Is Martha.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that now.
I've
blocked it from my memory.
That's a really dumb reference. All right. Cool.
I got 2 more to throw at you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Best Lois.
Oh, yes. Ah, best Lois.
I left that one out.
Sure did. I would say overall, I think nailing the relationship and the snarkiness and that would be Rachel Brosnahan, who's in the new one. I feel like in the original movie, and I'm forgetting the actress right now, she was pretty good. Didn't love her Lois, but Christopher Reeve carried it over and above. So I would probably put Rachel and then Amy Adams for my preference.
And then for the dynamic between Lois and Clark Superman.
Yeah, probably Henry Cavill and Amy Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the recent Lois is actually probably a little bit better, but the dynamic of the two.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
again, and that part of it is, and this might be what we talked about with Superman Returns, is we're thrown into the middle of it, and they are in the midst of dating and kind of trying to figure out what that looks like, and there's some strain there. So at times they're a little bit standoffish versus like in the first Superman, she's just enamored with Superman and then likes Clark, and it's all roses, and this one's a little bit more a balance of reality, I would say, in the midst of these intergalactic beings fighting outside the window. So there you go.
All right.
Superman. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.